Good afternoon and welcome back to yet another edition of Overtime ATL. I'm your moderator, Terrence Carson, along with my co-host, Leroy Sanders, as well as our resident therapist, Daryl Brooks. And we have the one and only Reverend Elisabeth Omilami here with Hosea Feed the Hungry. We've got a lot of questions. We're going to talk about a lot of things about what they do for the city of Atlanta and around the world. So actually, we're going to start this off with some of my co-host. I guess I'll start with maybe Leroy and let him tell us what is on his mind as we start this session of Overtime ATL.
Well, this is a very interesting day that we have here. As we said, we're here live at Hosea Feed the Hungry with the one and only Reverend Elisabeth Omilami. And one of the things that's on my mind is charities like this one just don't seem to get the recognition that they need. But we give millions and billions of dollars to these major conglomerates like the United Way, where 80 to 85% of the money goes to the corporate offices and those establishments, and only less than 10 or 15% of the money actually go to the people. But we're here with an organization like Hosea Feed the Hungry, where the majority of 86, 85% of the money goes to the people. And we're here, and Ms. Omilami will explain that a little later, but when they have hundreds of people outside their door feeding the hungry, giving away clothes, you can see the tour in the back that we took place of. The transparency of this organization is just incredible, and that is one of the things that's on my mind. Darryl, what about you?
Definitely what's on my mind is the fact that there's a legacy here, and from the great Reverend Hosea Williams to his daughter. These are the things that I reverend into and just love about this place. From her husband giving us the tour just a few minutes ago, from just listening to how he shows such substance and depth into this organization, whereas other ones are more commercial and fluff. This really truly got to my core, to the point where I'm like, I got to do something with this organization, and I won't stop till I have to tell my kids, hey, this is the legacy I want to leave the same way. So I'm really excited about being here. This has changed my life just in the minutes I've been here. So I am definitely understanding that my calling deals with civil rights, civil liberties, and also dealing with the therapy. It comes to this place where we work with individuals, because the homeless people need that type of therapy as well, because they go through so much. And he told me there's so many civil rights activists that are homeless, that are out there in the fields, that don't even have food, shelter, and clothing, that we forgot. So it hurts me to understand that we have those I call cornerstone people are out there not even being serviced, not even being helped, and just overlooked. So I want to be out there to reach them and get them, bring them back. That's where I'm at.
All right, guys, you've heard from all of us. Actually, I'm going to start off by allowing Reverend Elisabeth Omilami to say some words. Tell us about the organization. What is Hosea Feed the Hungry?
Wow. What is Hosea Feed the Hungry? That is a loaded question. Many times you think of nonprofit 501c3s, you think of organizations.
Yes, ma'am.
You think of someone helping a mother, or someone helping youth, or you think of the 501c3, you think of the tax donation. But Hosea Feed the Hungry has evolved into what I would say was not an organization but an organism. It has the ability to survive on its own because the hand of God is on the organization. That's why I don't have to worry about getting puffed up. But I tell you, I went into the hospital in 2011, 2012 for 3 months. It happened to be the most busiest 3 months in the organization. It was from October to February. So it was during the Thanksgiving dinner event, Christmas, the children's Christmas party, the Martin Luther King event, and that's when I came out right after that in time for Easter. I was not even here, and everything happened like it was supposed to.
That's beautiful. Yes.
It has we utilize 9,000 volunteers a year. So Jose Feed the Hungry is an organism. It has become the lives of so many people that it will survive without its CEO being in place. Nobody called me and asked me questions. People weren't worrying about where the money was going to come from. People weren't worrying about what to do. Thousands of people were fed, just as if, not as I possibly would have liked in every case, but it was done. So Hosea and Juanita Williams left when they passed away to be with the Lord in 2000. They started this organism in 1970. They left. They had touched so many lives that Atlanta and people from all over the country came to bear to make sure that what they left will continue. And so I am the guardian of this. I am the gatekeeper, the watcher at the gate. My husband and I, a FAMO, more so than the dictator. Because many people come in and say, give us advice. We take that advice. And what I always tell people is there's a very short line between need and program at Jose Feed the Hungry, and it's on the pillowcase. When we came in on September the 1st, there were 900 Katrina survivors in 2005 standing outside our gate. We said, go away. We don't do disaster relief. We can't help you. We're not going to open this gate. They said, well, we came here from New Orleans, various places, Baton Rouge, etc., Mississippi. Our families told us to come to Jose Feed the Hungry, that you all would help us. We have nothing but the clothes on our back. And you could see them. They had rashes and sores and all kinds of skin issues, crying mental health issues, and so forth. And my husband and I just looked at each other and said, we know what's going to happen if we open this gate. And so it was just like, well, open the gate. And for the next 6 months, Katrina survivors took over this building. The staff was not at their desk. There were volunteers at their desk trying to get this Katrina man home, trying to find this lady's baby in Houston, trying to get this find this person's children in New Orleans. And at the end of that, once the city and the other big organizations mobilized themselves, we'd already been active so long.
Wow. Wow.
We'd already been, when they had the Atlanta floods, the mayor's office called us to say, what are you all going to do?
Wow.
The very next morning, my husband and the truck was in Councilwoman Felicia Moore's neighborhood, distributing batteries, blankets, clothing, and food and water. While the other organizations, see, they have to meet, and then they have to agree on a strategy. And then after they agree on that strategy, they have to say who's going to implement the strat. By that time, folks is dead. So we don't have to fit in that paradigm, which is why the Lord has given us that freedom, but we pay the price. Because the larger foundations and the bigger funders will not fund us because we don't fit in the paradigm.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So it's an organism that exists to rescue those who have nowhere else to go, who believe that we can help them.
Yes, ma'am.
And they show up at the door, and we do the very best we can.
Yes, ma'am. You guys do an outstanding job. Before I pass the mic, let me just say this real quick. I know normally for you guys out there normally used to seeing me, I'm normally pretty hyper and I'm all over the place. But you have to understand, I am quite subdued because I'm honestly in awe. I'm from Atlanta. I'm a Grady baby. So I grew up seeing her father. And when I look at Reverend Omilami, I see the late Hosea Williams, and my mother used to march with this guy, so I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm so honored to be here. I'm grateful. I'm actually speechless, so that's why I'm a little different than I normally am. I promise you, I'm in awe. I'm very grateful. One thing I want to point out, though, I read something that the children in Atlanta make up the largest population of homeless and or with the most neediest, I think I read.
Atlanta is number 2 in the country when it comes to children living in poverty.
Wow. 2.
Number 2. So there are some 3 million, let's say throughout the state of Georgia, people are living in poverty. Well, 68% of them are children 18 and under, which is reflected in the statistics that we receive here at Hosea Feed the Hungry. And I'm going to ask my publicist, Kisa, to sort of find that for me. Atlanta does not have a very good national reputation when it comes to assisting children in poverty or when it comes to helping the homeless. The National Coalition on Homelessness has named Atlanta among the top 5 cities that are the meanest to the homeless.
I've heard that.
And if you will think about the fact that Atlanta tore down all of its public housing
For the Olympics.
projects. So how can you tear down all your public housing projects? Where did those people go?
Right.
Right.
They couldn't tell HUD where they went, so they got fined by HUD, the Atlanta Housing Authority, because they couldn't find the people that they had put out. Many of them are living in extended stay hotels, maybe bunked up with their families, or they are in fact in shelters, etc. But the 75 families a week we see here at Hosea Feed the Hungry are working people who don't make enough of a living. Maybe they're a waitress and they're making $2 an hour plus tips.
Right.
Rice has gone up, fresh vegetables has gone up, meat has gone up 17% in the last year. Groceries on the whole have gone up, but minimum wage has not gone up. The wages that people are paid for entry-level jobs has not gone up. So you could go live your whole life in Atlanta and not ever see any of the people I'm talking about, because the city has done such a good job of sanitizing them from public sight. But they exist in burgeoning apartment complexes that catch on fire and everything burns down because they're so cheap. There's an apartment complex back behind Lincoln Cemetery, off of near where the Berean church is. Nothing in there but mothers and children. We found them. So now, it used to be we could serve the poor because the housing projects were there. We knew how to get to them. Now they're gone. We have to send our outreach trucks out to find people in need. So when you knock on a door, we deliver 22,000 meals a year, for example, into the homes of senior citizens and the sick and the shut-in. When you knock on the door and you have the food in your hand, nobody comes to the door. You knock, and then a man opens the door on the floor because he had to get out of his wheelchair to drag himself to the door to get the food. You go in another apartment with this food. You see children sitting around in diapers and in various states of disarray, and you open the refrigerator, there's nothing in there but beer and bread. Wow. So we are not taking care of our community. Right. And we have only ourselves to blame. Yes. Because it is not Washington's responsibility to take care of our community. Right. It's ours.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Daryl, please.
He got me speechless too. The question I wanted to have, because I saw about your history, where you went to school at in Hampton. Mm-hmm. So how did that help you transfer to the skills that you learned here and with Hosea Feed the Homeless?
I would say I was a theater major at Hampton.
Right.
I thought I was going to be an actress. I had done many plays and films. When I got to Atlanta in 1973, and I'm telling my age and proud of it, after graduating from Hampton, I formed one of Atlanta's first black theater companies called People Survival Theater. We did a full season of shows, 5 shows a year, and that's what I thought I was going to be doing. My father went to China to visit Mao Zedong. When he was in China, he saw how Mao was using the arts to teach the people their history. Everything that they did, dance, visual arts, music, theater, everything was about their history. In some ways it was propaganda, okay? But it had a purpose. So he came back to Atlanta and decided that's what he wanted to do. And he had me and 4 of my Hamptonites that followed me to Atlanta. And we formed this theater company. So we were doing theater about current events, though. What we would do is we had lunchtime for know-it-alls. We call it lunchtime for know-it-alls. And we would get the newspaper, and whatever the current topic was in the newspaper, we would improvise around that topic like a family at a table getting ready to go to school and talk about that topic and then let the audience participate. Wow. So we fleshed out current affairs during lunchtime, people sitting there with their lunch bags on a daily basis. Man. But at the same time at night, I was in his office laying out the newspaper because he had a newspaper called People's Crusader. I was stuffing mail in envelopes. I was calling people back who'd called who had problems to find out how we could help them. I was counting the cash that we had taken in that day and turning it over to the bank. I was doing all these little things that I had learned how to do. Now I'm doing them. So I was training even then, even though he never thought I would be the one. You see, you never know where destiny is going to fall. You never know who the blanket is going to fall on. It might be you. Don't leave yourself out in the woods like David did, thinking that nobody's going to notice you. You're never going to be the one called up front. It could be you. And I'm here to tell you that I never thought it would be me. But it turned out to be me, and it's the most frightening thing that ever happened to me in my life. But the grace of God is sufficient for all things. He would take a black woman like me with no management experience, no MBA, no Masters of Divinity, nothing but an actress, and create an international human services organization. It's only by the grace of God that I am here. And got saved late in life, by the way.
Well, I will definitely say you are one extraordinary actress. But I want to talk to you more about the services you do here at Hosea Feed the Hungry. Because we all know it's in the title, you feed the hungry. But I also see here on the walls, in some of your sayings up there where it says, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. But if you teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. So you do more than just give people food and clothing. I'd like you to go into a little further detail and elaborate about some of the service you provide of trying to get some of these homeless people acclimated back into society where they can stand on their own 2 feet and not need these services anymore.
Absolutely. Since over 55, 60 people of the people, well, the percent of the people we serve are not homeless. Brenda Williams, our head case manager, spends a lot of her time. We have a partnership with the Department of Labor. Okay. They come in and they do job readiness workshops, resume critiquing, how to communicate, how to talk about yourself if you have a felony. How to talk about yourself if if you've been unemployed for a long time.
Yes.
How to dress and handle. Look at you, 3 handsome gentlemen. I'd hire you in a minute. Look at you. But the people that we see don't look like you. They don't smell like you. But inside they are just like you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Many of them have college degrees.
Yeah.
They just hit a bad turn in the road.
Yes.
So we do that job readiness piece, and then we work with the Department of Labor. At our last event, they had 40 vendors taking applications to actually help people get employed. We do what we call homeless prevention. And HUD has on its website, if you go to the HUD website, look up homeless prevention, you'll see that the best way to prevent homelessness is through rent assistance and utility assistance. In other words, don't get homeless in the first place.
Right.
So if someone is 3 months behind on their rent and they come during the grant cycle, we can pay their rent up to 3 months. And then we follow them every 30, 60, and 90 days to make sure they're still in their home or apartment. And we have an 85% success rate.
Wow.
So that means those families were prevented from becoming homeless.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And then they're referred to other resources like Seedco to get their benefits. Like St. Joseph's Mercy Care, we have an MOU with to get physical exams. We have a MOU with the mental health stepping stones to get their some mental health assistance. So then that is the second piece of it, which is the homeless prevention and utility. Then we have senior celebrations. Senior celebrations is something I love. Every week, Yolanda Stewart goes to a different senior citizens high-rise. You know, in Japan, they honor their ancestors, their living ancestors.
Yeah.
In Korea, they would never put their mother out unless she just couldn't medically take care of herself. In Africa, the elder sits at the head of the table. But in America, after you pass a certain age, you are kicked to the curb and put in a senior citizen's home and left there to rot. Now, there are cases where it has to be done. But even if it has to be done, you don't not visit them. You go check on them. You go even read grandmama Bible story every now and then, take her orange or a pair of socks. We have folks that don't ever get a visit from anybody, and they got children living right here in Atlanta. So we go in and we do a party. We do have music, we have food, we give them a gift basket and has socks, lotion, toothbrush, stuff that they need. Then we do some low-impact exercise with them, and then they tell their story. Oral history is a part of that. So they sit and they talk about who they are. Everybody is somebody. Everybody wants to belong and say, my life is not over, it's worth something.
Yes.
And so when they begin to talk about themselves, it brings about an encouragement, a self-esteem. So I love that. Then the children. So we have the back-to-school jamboree, and we have the children's Christmas party. If you have a child doesn't ever eat dinner, you sit that child in school next to a child with an iPad, pencil, all kind of colored pencils, crayons, paints. Parents do their homework with them, and you say, no child left behind. That's a farce. You cannot educate children without an understanding of the socioeconomic conditions in which they come from. What is happening in that child's home? The teachers used to go into the home back in the before y'all were born. Teachers show up at your home and tell your parents such and such and so. You got your butt whooped and you were straight the next day.
That's right.
Half of our teachers never even met the parents of the teachers, the children they teaching.
True.
Never met the parents. So at the Back to School Jamboree, not only do we provide the supplies for the teachers, each teacher spends an average of $1,500 of their own money on school supplies every year. But we provide the supplies for the students, and we provide a way for the parents to tell us, are you having a problem at your house that we need to know about? Are you a domestic violence victim? Are you getting evicted? Is your one woman the raining through her bathroom? So that is an outlet for that.
Right.
And then the children's Christmas party is just plain old fun. You just go. It ain't deep. They call here. They register. Cheryl Henderson takes their name, address, child age 8, 5, 11, 12. We pack up a bag based on their age. They carrying out bags they can't even carry. They eat. They have danced. They see a black Santa. They see a white Santa. They see something walking around looking like a cookie. And they just have a ball. So you know, those, and then other than those things, every other month we have a community giveaway event.
Yes. Gotcha.
Where we just open that place where you went a few minutes ago.
Yes.
And give away everything.
Wow.
As soon as you give away, God sends it back.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like a big circle.
Yes.
Faster, like today we had a truck fill itself up to go to Haiti. Right? You saw it. You saw the list of the stuff we put on the truck. Soon as we give it away, somebody called, I got 16 pallets of such. Can you come pick it up? See, our warehouse can take 16 pallets of stuff.
Yes.
We need your food. But we don't need a bag of food. Get with your church, get with your community organization, and have a food drive, and we'll come and pick up, you know, what you have. My daddy taught me, though, before he died. He said, if they have one turkey, you go pick it up.
That's right.
That's the widow's mite.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That might be all they got. Don't think you too proud to pick up one turkey.
Yes.
And every now and then when I say something, I hear his voice in my ear. I hear my mother's voice in my ears. He used to ride around town and just picking up one turkey all day from different people. So, you know, our website is number 4, HOSEA.org. That's the number 4, HOSEA.org. Oh, well, I'm not going to take the time to tell you about the Philippines, Haiti, Uganda. I'll do that another time, but my soul is heavy, and I'm sad because I don't understand what our churches are doing, because we shouldn't be struggling to pay our rent. If we just got $1,000 from every church, $1,000 1 year, it would take care of our expenses. That burdens me. So what we do here, our program is with Gideon, it's called Gideon 300, where the churches can plug in, and we ask them for 1 day a year at each church for us to come in, show our 6-minute video, and talk about the work that we do and take up a love offering.
Got it.
Yeah, and that's another program. So I want you all to come back on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday morning when this place is packed with folks, and just sit back and look at what God has done.
Yes. And welcome back. Overtime ATL, guys. We are again blessed with the one and only Reverend Elisabeth Omilami. We are grateful that she allowed us to come see Hosea Feed the Hungry. She's been explaining what they're about, what they do, their mission. I have a few questions for her before we go, but you know, we've taken a little time, but we are definitely going to touch on these few questions. The first one being, ma'am, what items are needed the most at your upcoming Easter event? I know it's a big event, so...
The The reason we have an Easter event at Hosea Feed the Hungry is because I said to a little girl one day, said, look at you. I said, you're such a pretty little thing. I said, I know you know your Easter speech. She said, no, ma'am, I don't go to church on Easter. I said, but I know you going to church on Easter. She said, I can't go to church on Easter because I don't have an Easter dress. Okay. Now, I thought to myself how horrible that was, and I said, Lord God, if you give me the power, I will create an Easter event that the poor can come to from the north, south, east, and west, no matter where they are, how they're dressed. Yes. Receive the communion. We give communion. We have preachers to come. See, the church isn't in a building.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay? Yes. It's wherever you are.
Yes.
So we're going to do Easter this year here at 1035 Donnelly Avenue because a major corporate sponsor, as the enemy would have it, dropped out on us. I won't name their name, but they will not be in support of the event this year. So we have to raise $6,000 to do Easter. We're going to have a block party. It's a celebration. It's a resurrection of a man with Christ inside. Receiving Christ. Yes. Because we have preachers at all of our events, and many, many souls are saved during the year. We don't even track it.
Yes.
So Easter will be here. We need chicken salad. First we need money. But we need chicken salad, fruit. We need macaroni. We need rice. Okay. We need drinks, chips, and dessert. Okay. Now, all of our events are prepared at the DeKalb County Jail because that is the largest industrial kitchen in the Southeast. And when you're cooking for 20,000 people, you need that kind of kitchen.
Yes, ma'am.
So all these items need to be at the DeKalb County Jail at least a week in advance of Easter Sunday. Okay. So we have time now for you to go out and remember that little girl who didn't have an Easter dress. We also need 300 Easter baskets. Now, these are not Easter baskets with candy in them or cookies. This is what you do in a Hosea Feed the Hungry Easter basket. You put a pair of flip-flops, you put a skirt, you put a little shirt, you put maybe some earrings or something, you put maybe a tie, you could put some school supplies, and you wrap that basket up and you put the age on the basket and you bring it in. 300 children will be served with those baskets. Wow. And that is a Hosea Feed the Hungry Easter event.
Okay. That's a beautiful thing.
Definitely a beautiful thing.
That's the Easter event. Now, guys, you heard that 300. 300. Remember the movie? We want 300 for the Easter event. So we can definitely make it. But speaking of that, real quick, another one. What can the community do to help with the mission? Help with the mission, overall mission. Overall, yeah. Yeah, just, you know, beyond Easter, because as we know now that this is a year-long thing.
Yes.
Every day, every week.
Every day. I'm so glad to see my brother here. I'm sorry, your name again?
Daryl.
Daryl. Poverty produces depression. It produces a feeling of hopelessness. It produces a lack of drive and ambition. You just look at the big world and you say, I don't fit anywhere. Mental health professionals, social workers, and case managers. That's what we need. Yes. Those 25 families that come here every day, come with them, ministers. You say you want to preach? Preach in here in Hosea Feed the Hungry. Yes. You don't have to be in a big robe up on the stage at your church and the podium preaching to the people. That wasn't where Jesus was. He was walking with his dirty, dusty feet from city to city, preaching and teaching. Now, if he had to go in the synagogue, oh, he could hold it with the best of them, because he was an educated man. But that is not where he chose to spend his time. Tax collectors, prostitutes, etc. So come here on any Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday morning. Minister to the people that are here. Find out, pray with them. Say you'll walk with them for a month or two. And then go to 4hosea.org. Number 4hosea.org. Say, I'm not going to eat out for 2 weeks. Take that $100-something, because I know how much you're paying, and give it. And feed a hungry family with it. And you'll be blessed. I'm blessed.
Yes.
I'm not rich. And I may not be well every day physically. But down in my sanctified soul, I am blessed, because I know I could do more.
Yes.
There's always more.
Yes.
You know, but and we need to be taught more by people like you about how to handle that kind of depression.
Yeah, yeah. I really appreciate it. I'm in awe. And like I said, I definitely want to be a part of this ministry right here. That's what I call it, a ministry. So I definitely want to be a part of this. Make this movement, this organism that you call it, to make it go forward. One of my questions I was going to say is, how can we help those that are in transition become more productive, and as they experience setbacks? Because I know that you wanted me to, as a therapist, there's things that we do to help them through that, some coping skills. But what are some of the things that you see and some of the things that they need that I can help with?
I think men have to stand up and be men. 70% of African American households are single mothers.
Right.
70% do not have fathers.
True.
Men need to stand up and be men. What are you thinking of? Why would you call your queen a bitch? Why would you want somebody calling your mother or your daughter that? Why would you take her to the club and have her do a lap dance? Why would you treat your African queen like a slut or a whore? These are the mothers of your children. How could you? You will answer for it. Men need to stand up and bind with these brothers and sisters and families that come here and show them what a real man is.
Yes.
And that will save our families and our community.
Yes, yes. I'm in awe, because that's what we're about. You know, Overtime ATL is about that. You know, we're four men, you know, that came together to bond, to do things in this community, and just coming here, listening to you tell us what we're about, our overall mission, man. That just solidifies how we feel. And how we want to be out here, man, and you know, got me in the tears. I'm holding back tears, you know, because it's a strong message that we're trying to send. But when we get it from one of our queen, one of our matriarchs of this struggle, when they tell us that what we need to do, we can't not but stand up. You know, the true men that we are will stand up, and I think the men that are out there that sees this will begin to say, you know what, they're right. This is something that we have to do. It's coming from one of our strong mothers, you know. This is a grandmother. This is someone's mother, grandmother, you know, aunt. These are the women that are telling us we need to stand up, and if we can't stand up because what they're saying, what's going to happen to our seeds? You know, how we're going to live. I can't let that go.
The enemy is after the seed.
I can
tell you, listen, I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, most of the pregnant females that come in here have C-sections, whether they need them or not. And that destroys the capability to have another child.
Wow.
The enemy is after the seed.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be a black seed. It could be any color but it is have specifically, just like most black people have high blood pressure in compared to other races. Black people have diabetes more compared to other races. Black people's mortality of their babies is down.
Wow.
Compared to other races. So it's not a black theology I'm talking.
Right.
I'm just talking facts.
Yes.
And if it sounds like a black theology to you, then, hey, take it for what it's worth. So what I'm saying is, I want my daughter to marry a real man. God bless me with a real man.
Yes.
He's rare.
Yes.
He's not a perfect man, but he loves the Lord. And rather than be in Hollywood doing all the movies, he was in G.I. Joe too. He was in Forrest Gump. He was in Hunger Games. You'll see him, the mayor in Hunger, driving drum line.
Yes.
He could go to Hollywood tomorrow. He's back there sweeping the floor and cleaning out the bathroom so the homeless people who come here have a clean bathroom. So we can't do it without the men. The women cannot be the head of the nation. They can't.
No.
But they've had to step out of their place to take the place of the man. And it is destroying our communities.
Yeah.
So now they are ready to step back. So they ain't going to step back but so far.
That's true. That's true.
They see the man step in his rightful place.
Absolutely.
Hey, take care of me, brother. I love you for it.
Yeah.
Okay, be my king.
That's right.
But until you prove that,
Ain't no
I am going to take care of my children and do what I have to do.
That's right. I mean, and we thank you for giving us the opportunity to even meet with Mr. O, because Mr. O gave us so much, man. And that's what I wanted to feel, because I kept saying I always understood the civil rights era of research, had been in it, going through black school, you know, listening to the Stolen Legacy, reading about it, all the stuff, you know, and from all these authors and all these writers, there's someone tangible right down this street, right down here, the hallway, that we can sit up there and just talk to. And I mean, he willing to share, because I was hesitant, because I said I seen him walk by. I said, will he really talk to me? Because he seems like, you know, he's Hollywood. I mean, the movie I saw him in, you know, he was the Stoker. So I was like, I didn't want.
That was the Blood Done Sign My Name.
That's right. And so I was like, is he going to be approachable? Very approachable. Gave me a hug when he gripped. You know, that's the first time I had a grip from an actor. I was like, wow, I was excited. But he was willing to share with us the history, civil rights movement, the struggle, all of that. And we sat there and soaked that in. And that's like, we knew that this is going to be our turn to carry that torch, carry that baton to the next. So we're ready. I know I'm ready. So that's all I can say.
Again, we want to thank you. We want to thank you from the bottom of our heart, from all the men at Overtime ATL. It is truly a blessing. I can't wait to go home and tell my mother, Ma, you got to look on the internet. Guess who I was talking to? I look forward to it. Again, I'm from here. I'm a Grady baby. So your family's legacy surely is in my family. I grew up listening and watching your father and seeing you prosper and grow it. Like I said, I'm species, and that's normally not me. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here.
Well, I think that part of your speechlessness is conviction.
Yes, ma'am.
And let me just be honest.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you're one of my sons
now.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Conviction rises because you know you should have been here before tonight.
Yes. You're right.
And when people see us coming, they run. Because we bring conviction into the room. And they start saying, oh, I've been trying to volunteer, but I can't figure out how to do. You can figure out how to do anything you want to do.
Absolutely. That's right. No
we
excuse.
just right over there on Donnelly Avenue.
Yep.
So thank God for the conviction.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll bring my sons back as well. I most certainly will. Don't forget, www.overtimeatl.com. Overtime. OvertimeATL.com. I'm sorry, I cannot even see that. I apologize. Our producer, our lovely Bobbi Million, is showing me something, and I need a magnifying glass because.
Where's the wisdom?
Words of wisdom. Yes. You know what? We always like to end with the words of wisdom. Also, before I do that, let me tell you this. For those of you wondering who her husband is, she mentioned drumline. If you remember the part where Nick Cannon wasn't on the field and I can't remember the actor's name, and he said, well, why isn't Devin on the field? And he said, look, I want my boy on the field. That's him. When he told the director he wants his boy on the field, that's her husband. So for those of you that don't know, now you know. Trust me, we're big fans. Oh, yeah. As you can see, we are like little children in a Hollywood studio. But again, we like to end with the words of wisdom. I like to start, I guess, from my right, and then we will end with our celebrity guest, of course.
Yeah, definitely words of wisdom for me is just, like I said, as a man thinketh, so is he. When I came here, the thought was we're doing something for Overtime ATL, when actually Hosea Feed the Homeless did something for us. It changed my life totally to the point where I'm definitely being a part of this. And it's going to take me how long, whatever I got to do, I'm going to be here. I don't care if I have to help bags, whatever, you know, take pictures like you did. But that's my word of wisdom. As a man thinketh, so is he.
Guys, you know mine has always been the same. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Normally I talk a lot. I am, again, convicted, as I was so eloquently advised. I'm convicted. This is a life-changing experience for me. I've always talked to my family about coming down and volunteering. We've not done it. I talk a lot about strong males in the family. I believe in black male leadership. I believe in a man being a man. I believe in roles and ladies playing their roles. I believe, you guys know, you've seen the shows, we talk a lot about ladies in their roles. But just as she put again, we have to stand up as men and do what we're supposed to do. If we don't, how can they? How can the body be better than the head? Our body without a head is nothing. So, again, my words of wisdom, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. And we will end the show with the words of wisdom from the one and only Reverend Elisabeth Omilami.
This is a little controversial, but this is what I want to say to the young ladies out there. There is power in submission to a wise king. Never be afraid to submit your life to a wise king. You're going to get everything you want anyway. He's going to bless you abundantly because you are his queen. Now, do not submit yourself to a fool. But there is power in submission to a wise king. And you want to hear more of what I have to say? Go to my blog at number 4, hosea.org.
Overtime ATL. We'll see you guys next time. Good night.